More than 20,000 voters will head to the polls on Saturday for the closely contested Dunstan by-election for the state of South Australia. The potential MPs have been making their final campaign pitches in Adelaide's eastern suburbs.
Standing in the heart of Dunstan, three candidates toe-to-toe in a final effort to win the votes of the eastern suburbs electorate.
This is a vibrant, dynamic community and it deserves a representative that is just as vibrant as it is.
I don't think that 9.5 years ago I could have said that I was a local and understood the issues in the same way that I do now.
Liberal candidate Anna Finizio, who is battling to keep her party's seat, and Labor's Cressida O'Hanlon are the frontrunners. But the Greens Katie McCusker has felt a swing.
I'm hearing about it on the doors all the time. People are saying that this time they're voting Green.
Finizio has focused her campaign on Labor's failed promises.
We're seeing ambulance ramping 3 times as bad as it was under the former government when this government made a promise to fix ramping, and now we're seeing people dying waiting for an ambulance when they were told to vote Labor like your life depends on it.
But Labor is making no apologies.
Ramping wasn't just the issue at the last election. The whole health system was in crisis, and what the health system needed in order to bring ramping under control was increased capacity. And what you've seen from this government is an enormous investment in doing just that. And I think it's an interesting situation also when we start judging governments on what they've achieved in half an election cycle. I think give the government a chance to implement the full suite of policies and judge them at the end of the election cycle.
Locally, each of the candidates want to see fewer trucks on Port Rush Road, a hot spot for accidents in this electorate, but each of their approaches differ.
Labor have cut that funding.
South Australia is a small state, and having a bypass is a hugely expensive piece of infrastructure. Trucks will always be to some degree on Port Rush Road. It's about being able to reduce trucks on Port Rush Road in the future.
It would be great to get the trucks off the road. The way that the Greens would be interested in looking at that is seeing the feasibility of a freight route on rail to get that done, instead of just moving the problem to somebody else's backyard.
The Liberals have held the electorate for 14 years, former Premier Stephen Marshall claiming the seat in 2010 when it was known as Norwood. Marshall's retirement from state politics triggered the by-election in January.
Stephen has left an incredible legacy for South Australia, so absolutely big shoes to fill, but I'm excited. The community is, as I've said, a very vibrant and dynamic community, and I think I reflect them.
The 2022 state election saw a shift to the red, the Liberals holding on by 0.5%. Now the Dunstan vote could reflect public opinion 2 years into Labor's term.
They're very concerned and they don't believe that the government's approach is working.
The major parties haven't been afraid to bring out the election tactics. Labor has questioned Finizio's commitment to the Liberal Party after she applied to be an advisor under a Labor MP 4 years ago.
Every minute that this government spends talking about me, they're not thinking about the people of Dunstan, they're not thinking about the people of South Australia.
Despite claiming the moral high ground, the Liberals did accuse O'Hanlon of breaching strict lobbying rules over a leaked email between husband and wife.
So he was seeking advice from the minister about who he would need to speak to in order to advance a foreign aid project that his company was working on. He'd simply sent that email to me so I could print it out.
Really disappointing to see the mudslinging that's going on. I'm hearing it from people on the doors that they're disappointed that that's the focus of this election, instead of looking at what they need to improve their lives, instead of being solution focused.
Monique van der Hayden, Sky News Adelaide.